All right, hey everybody, welcome back, and we have got a mega video for you today. It is finally here, people, the official launch and unveilings of the PS5 and Xbox Series X/S. And in this video, I'm going to talk about which one's worth it. I mean, which one would you really go for? Which is better in this, shall we call it, an epic shootout? All right. So I watched yesterday most of the live stream event for the PS5 unveiling, and I gotta say it was a huge bust. We've already seen this. They just spent the whole time showing off trailers of games that for the most part we've already seen. Although there were interesting moments, I will say. They didn't really tell us anything we don't already know. So let's just break it down. Let's start with the PS5, which everybody's is making all the headlines, and I don't know how, and people are insisting. I've even seen on CNET, it was actually calling it the biggest game console release in history. Well, we'll look into that for a minute. The PS5 has currently 10 teraflops. I'm not entirely sure who came up with that term, but 10 teraflops of power, which is just insane. We've never seen that from a console, but Microsoft has an answer to that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Some of the interesting moments from the live stream for me was watching Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart, which is a huge release that I was really excited to see. I've been a fan of the series. I've been playing it for over 10 years now, which is kind of surprising to think of. And I'm really excited to see this new iteration. I saw a little bit of the gameplay, which is designed to make the PS5 look really good, and it looked fantastic. And I really enjoyed that. It had the same goofy graphics and fun gameplay we've been looking forward to, but it just, well done. Number two, something really interesting was to see the new Spider-Man release, Miles Morales. As you all know, there are many iterations of Spider-Man. Peter Parker's still my favorite, and I know I'm in a class of my own, but I really liked Miguel O'Hara. I think he deserves his own game, but we may have to wait a little bit on that. But Spider-Man Miles Morales looked just jaw-dropping. I mean, it looked cinematic. If you had just shown this to me and it didn't tell me, hey, this is a video game, and if you were a pretty good gamer, I would honestly think I was watching a movie. The storyline seems to be very well developed. The combat mode is unbelievable. I've never seen this smooth of a delivery in any game before. That is really surprising. Well done from PlayStation Studios and Insomniac. I really enjoyed the pre-release. I'd like to see if that turned out any good. And anyway, but I want to talk for a minute about the Xbox Series X as well, which isn't making as many headlines, but it should. Just today, PS5 opened up for pre-order, and within hours, it shut down. They are completely sold out of pre-orders. Now, PlayStation dropped the ball a little bit, people. In the event yesterday, they announced, we will be sending you a special email based on your activity, blah, blah, blah. Basically, look, I'll translate it for you. Basically, if you've been playing PlayStation for a while, if you're an active person who plays PlayStation games, if you're someone who would pay the full price for the console, we'll let you pre-order it. Okay, the problem is they selected a bunch of people and sent a bunch of emails out to people who are not able to pre-order it. That was a massive blunder on PlayStation's part. You know, they already knew how many copies they were able to sell, and they should have sent that exact number of emails, and they didn't. They overestimated, and look, Sony, you dropped the ball there. In terms of whoever's in charge of marketing, you really dropped the ball. The second failure on PlayStation's part is, you know, they announced, listen, we're not going to surprise you. We're going to give you plenty of time. We'll tell you exactly when you can pre-order it. They said this back in like July. And then yesterday, just out of nowhere, they just said, we're going to announce the pre-order, and the pre-order is going to take place in under 24 hours. That was another massive blunder on Sony's part to just drop the ball, drop that on people. They still sold out, but again, you know, for a company like that, you owe service to your fans, and Sony did not do a good job of doing that. That was kind of a disservice to a lot of fans. Now, Xbox, on the other hand, you will be able to pre-order next week, October 22nd to be precise. Xbox has not announced how many copies that will be able to be pre-sold yet that I've seen, but they have announced, listen, we've got the date right here. We'll give you plenty of time to pre-order. We're not going to pull that junk on you and send you. They actually tweeted out, they said, we're going to have pre-orders ready, and don't worry, we'll make sure everybody can get one, which is just a massive slap in the face to PlayStation. Here's why you should pay attention to the Xbox. Now, but let me preface this, there are two versions of Xbox's new console. There's the Series S and Series X. The Series S is a small console that will be worth $299. You can buy a brand new console for $300. It will have 4 teraflops of power, which is amazing to consider their One S currently only has 2. So that's already doubly more powerful, smaller, and relatively inexpensive for a brand new console. And by the way, I actually like the look of it. I think it looks really nice in the vent and all, but the Series X is the big boy, okay? You know, it looks like a tower console. It looks like an old computer to me, like those old computer hard drives is what it looks like. It has an astonishing 12 teraflops of power. That is more powerful than the PlayStation 4. Furthermore, the Xbox will also be a fully functional 4K UHD player, just like the PlayStation. However, the Xbox has a faster graphics processor and faster processor overall. In other words, this thing will run your movies better than Sony, which is something nobody's talking about. Your games will be infinitely faster and the graphic power will be bigger. But here's the big news. Right now, Sony says that only some games will be backwards compatible. Now, why should we care about this? Because if you've been playing games for a while, you probably don't want to have to chunk your entire library you've already invested in. You probably want to be able to carry that over into your new console. Microsoft Studios understands this. That is why basically every single Xbox game you've ever bought, from the original console to now, will be capable on the Series X. And pay attention, even if it was developed for the original Xbox, Xbox promises that with their upscale resolution, it will go double. It will have double the resolution and processing power that it was originally built for. Are you hearing this? So if you originally had a 720 game, a game that was only built for 720p, it'll probably go up to 1080 or more. Do you understand that? That is shocking that they've been able to do that. They've promised all your games, you will not have to rebuy them. They will still be available for you. It will not cost you anything. And furthermore, you'll get an upgraded version, an enhanced version they're calling it. Now that is shocking. Now that will come out for $499, the Series X. And just a tiny little note, a lot of people did not seem to understand this. The Series S will not get that up-res. So you do have to upgrade to the big boy to get those up-res games, just to be clear. Now what should you buy? The answer is, it depends. If you're, the PlayStation 5 is probably going to outsell the Xbox purely because it has more titles that came with it up front. The Xbox has some seriously big titles coming out, such as the big boy, Halo Infinite, probably the biggest game release of the decade. I'm not kidding you people, this is huge stuff. We're not really sure when it's coming out. We're hearing mixed messages from the CEO and game developer. It seems like there's not any communication going on corporately, so we actually don't know when it comes out. But I would think it would come out in November with the Series X. I would be shocked if Microsoft did not release it. You also have the release of Forza Motorsport 8, but there is no release date for that. It's just, we're developing it and it'll come out at some point in the future. So there's that to consider. And there's a couple of other games. Microsoft doesn't have any exclusive titles that will be launching with it yet. 2021, however, you're going to see a lot of big releases. Where PlayStation, to their credit, did hit it right is there is a lot of titles that just are coming out up front. So you have to just decide, and I would just, if I was you, I would look over the libraries and decide which games would you prefer playing. And let's not forget, Xbox has the bigger library because remember, you can still play a bunch of your old past games, which are still fantastic, you know? You will still be able to play those. Let's not forget that. PlayStation, not so much. So you have to decide, do you want to be able to play all your old games and be able to buy a bunch of the new ones, such as Halo Infinite? Or do you want all of PlayStation's big bad new games, but you'll probably lose the majority of your PlayStation library? Again, that's just all for you to decide. PlayStation did announce that there will be another pre-order that you will be able to probably buy a few million more copies in November, whereas Xbox is announcing everybody who pre-orders will get one. So it depends. Do you want your console now or do you want to wait? If you want it now, go for the Xbox. If you're willing to wait, the PS5 is a pretty good solution. Do you want to play all your old titles and play a bunch of the new titles? Xbox is the way to go. Or do you just want to play the new stuff? Or are you just really invested in the Sony system? The PS5. It depends. Again, look at the game titles, decide what you would buy. The truth is, people, we can talk about specs, but both consoles are really, really great. And there's blunders on both sides. That's just part of it. Both consoles are great, and it's just a great day to be a gamer. You tell me what you think. What would you buy? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.